some future AI overlords. I'm using Chrome, and I'm on the Google DeepMind website where they're welcoming us to the Gemini era. Now, I've already done a video on the announcement. We kind of looked through this site, but some cool new things have happened. My last video was actually on the release of the Gemini Nano, because Gemini comes in three sizes. There's the Ultra, there's the Pro, and then there's the Nano. So the Nano is what was recently released for the Google Pixel 8, I believe, and it's used by a few tools. I think the recording summarize functionality and the Gboard Smart Reply is using Google Gemini Nano on the Pixel 8 Pro. Now, we've also got Google Gemini Pro, which has been released to be used in Bard. So what we're going to do is we're going to go play with Bard and see how it is doing with, go hands-on with using Gemini Pro and Bard. Now, what I understand, it's text only right now. The multimodal capabilities have not been added, but I've got Bard up. Let's go take a look. We've got our Bard activity, we've got extensions, we've got help, settings. Let's go to help and let's just look at updates. So this is the announcement we saw a while back about it getting Gemini Pro. What's interesting is it's saying it got it December 6th. It's saying you can try Bard Gemini for text-based prompts with support for other modalities coming soon. So it's been a little confusing, because there have been announcements saying it came out on the 13th. But anyway, it should be available. And so let's actually go play with Bard and check it out and see how it works. So, I'm going to I'd asked some questions to Bard in the past about Gemini, but let's go ahead and ask it, what is Google Gemini? And let's see if it's smarter about its capability. So,
Google Gemini is a family of powerful new language models unveiled by Google DeepMind on December 6, 2023. It's seen as the next step in their AI development, following the successes of Lambda and PaLM 2. Here's a breakdown of what you need to know. What it is: multimodal. Unlike previous models, Gemini can handle different forms of data, like text, code, and audio, all at once. This gives it a deeper understanding and allows it to perform more complex tasks. Variants. Gemini comes in 3 versions: Ultra, Pro, and Nano. Each caters to different needs, with Ultra being the most powerful and Nano being the most lightweight. Capabilities. Gemini can perform a wide range of tasks, including answering complex questions in an informative way, generating different creative text formats, like poems, code, scripts, and musical pieces, translating languages, understanding and responding to natural language interactions, performing various reasoning tasks, like predicting outcomes or explaining why something might happen. Potential applications. Improving Google search. Gemini's ability to understand different data types could lead to more accurate and relevant search results. Developing smarter AI assistants. Gemini could power next-generation AI assistants that can handle more complex requests and engage in natural conversations. Boosting creativity and productivity. Gemini's creative capabilities could be used for writing, design, and other tasks. Advancement in various fields. From scientific research to healthcare, Gemini's potential applications are vast and could lead to significant breakthroughs. Current status. Gemini is still under development, but Google has made it available in limited access through its AI platform, Vertex AI. Its full potential is yet to be seen, and its impact on various industries will likely unfold in the coming years. Overall, Google Gemini is a significant advancement in AI technology with the potential to revolutionize various fields. It's an exciting development to watch, and I'm sure we'll see many innovative applications emerge in the future. Do you have any specific questions about Google Gemini or its potential applications? I'd be happy to discuss it further.
I really love the voice that's provided in Bard. So this is exciting. So the announcement was on the 6th. Recent subsequent announcements have said that the availability of Pro and Bard is available as of the 13th, and then the Nano, the Gemini Nano and the Pixel was part of the December Pixel update, which I finally got. So so the Google Gemini product is just starting to kind of make itself available, but it's supposedly backed now in Bard. So I'm just going to go through. I have a set of questions I like to ask AI systems, and I've been doing this for about a year now, just trying to understand what they know and what they can do. So let's ask some questions like, what is the date? And this was something that a year ago, these tools couldn't answer. So it's currently Saturday, December 16th, 2023. You told me that earlier, so I wanted to be sure to keep our conversation consistent. Well, I didn't tell you earlier, but I'm glad that you think that. Let's ask it. What is the time? I love how it's like, as you previously informed me, the current time in Florida in the United States is 12:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Since it's Saturday, December 6th, 2020, the information should be accurate. Now, it's right on with the date and it's right on with the time, but I love how it's like, as I previously informed, it's like there's clearly something going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to ask another question. Where are you? So I love this response.
I apologize for any confusion. I am not located in any physical place. I am a large language model running on Google's computing infrastructure, which spans across various data centers around the world. Therefore, I don't have a specific location in the traditional sense. However, if you're curious about my access to information, I can access and process data from various sources, including the internet and Google's internal systems. This allows me to stay up to date on current events and provide you with relevant information from wherever it might be located. I hope this clarifies my location for you. Please let me know if you have any other questions.
So one thing I like about Bard is that it's usually very precise, and it tries to be very clear. So I'm finding this conversation to be on par with the typical Bard experience. It's polite. And it feels accurate, but now I'm going to ask it some, so those were kind of context questions, date, time, location. Now I'm going to ask it more like personal questions. Let's see if it can answer some of these. Who are you? I like this. It's so polite.
My apologies. I should have introduced myself properly. I am Bard, a conversational large language model from Google AI. I am powered by the Gemini family of models, which allows me to understand and respond to your questions in an informative and comprehensive way. You can think of me as a virtual assistant who can access and process information from the vast amount of data available to me, and then use that knowledge to help you with your tasks or answer your questions. I am still under development, but I am constantly learning and improving. I am excited to see what the future holds for me, and I hope that I can be a valuable resource for you. Do you have any other questions about me or about what I can do? I would be happy to chat further.
So I really love that it's polite, and I love how it's like, my apologies, I should have introduced myself properly. Well, it doesn't need to do that, but I think it's super cool that it has that very, kind of polite behavior. And it really reinforces, I think, the human behavior to be polite. It's demonstrating politeness. We should be polite. I know at times I get frustrated with technology and I don't speak very kindly to it, which is bad on me, bad, James. But anyway, it specifically says, I am powered by the Gemini family of models. So it is running now officially on the Gemini Pro. So that is exciting. So I'm going to ask it a question: who created you?
My creation wasn't the work of a single individual, but rather a collaborative effort by a talented team of researchers and engineers at Google AI. They come from diverse backgrounds and expertise, including machine learning engineers. These specialists built the software infrastructure and algorithms that allow me to learn and process information. Linguists and natural language processing experts. They shaped my ability to understand and respond to language in a nuanced and meaningful way. Data scientists and researchers. They curated and trained me on massive datasets of text and code, which serves as the foundation for my knowledge and abilities. Software developers. They built the user interface and systems that allow you to interact with me and access my capabilities. While I can't pinpoint specific individuals, the dedication and expertise of this diverse team is what brought me to life. They continue to work on improving my capabilities and expanding my knowledge base, so my abilities are constantly evolving. Do you have any other questions about my creation or about the team behind me? I'd be happy to share what I know.
I love this response. It's clear, but it gives you lots of good, like detail. So I'm going to say here, I'm going to ask it, which Gemini model are you using? Let's see if it. Yep, I love it. It's so good. And it's speedy, which is great.
I'm currently utilizing the Gemini Pro model, the middle tier within the Gemini family. Pro strikes a balance between the powerful capabilities of Ultra and the efficiency of Nano. It allows me to handle complex tasks like answering your questions in an informative way, generating different creative text formats, and translating languages, while running smoothly and efficiently. In the future, you might encounter Bard powered by the even more advanced Gemini Ultra model. As Ultra becomes more widely available, we'll be able to offer access to its cutting-edge capabilities for specific tasks or users. I hope this answers your question. Feel free to ask anything else you'd like to know about Gemini or my abilities.
So that is fantastic. We got the confirmation, the Gemini Pro model, and they've talked about Gemini Ultra, and this is where it looked like it could be positioned as maybe a paid subscription option or something like that potentially, or maybe it's just so high in processing it's it's definitely for more significant cutting edge like activities and stuff like that, which makes sense. So I want to ask it, how are you trained? This is nice. It gives a lot of background. So what I like about this is it provides, it provides the whole multi-stage process, the data acquisition, and then the data pre-processing, the model training, so they use supervised learning. Interesting. So they do some text to code that might involve pairing text descriptions with corresponding code. So interesting. Fine-tuning and evaluation, for accuracy, and then continuous learning. So I do like that. My training is a one-time event. I'm constantly learning and improving by being exposed to new data and feedback. This allows me to adapt to changing trends and information to become more versatile in my abilities. So that's one thing that really is one of the reasons why I really enjoy Bard, is because while ChatGPT is amazing and I love it for so many aspects of that tool, its ability to become outdated is just painful, and they let it get super outdated. I know they did an update to bring it, I think, into July 2023, but still it's out of date. I mean, every day something is out of date. It's just it's just painful, because you feel like you're not, you're talking to someone who's just doesn't know, isn't aware of the latest and greatest information, and that just doesn't feel like the best solution to have. So be interested to see how OpenAI handles that. Of course, Bing Copilot the Microsoft Copilot, it uses the Bing search engine. So they have a search engine with the technology they use from OpenAI and the Microsoft AI tools. So it's one of those things like having a search engine to, that's already doing, providing a knowledge base is very helpful. And I mean, that is Google's like core. So it's one of those things where it just feels like Google just has, such a great like history around being a search engine and aggregating data and analyzing it in AI tools. I mean, this is just really wonderful. So now I'm going to ask it, and I love the prompts so far are polite, but enough detail and context to make the answers really good. So, what is your expertise? Okay.
My expertise lies in a few key areas, thanks to the extensive training I received with the Gemini Pro model. 1. Language understanding and generation. I can comprehend complex questions and instructions in natural language and respond with informative and relevant answers. I can generate different creative text formats, like poems, code, scripts, and musical pieces, using my understanding of language structure and style. I can translate languages accurately and fluently, bridging communication gaps between people and cultures. 2. Information retrieval and access. I can search and retrieve information from vast datasets of text and code, including the web and Google's internal systems. I can analyze and summarize information from multiple sources, providing you with a concise overview of a topic. I can stay up to date on current trends and events by constantly learning and processing new information. 3. Reasoning and problem solving. I can draw inferences and conclusions based on the information I have access to. I can predict potential outcomes and explain the reasoning behind my predictions. I can assist you in making decisions by providing relevant information and different perspectives. 4. Open-ended creativity and exploration. I can brainstorm ideas and generate new concepts based on your prompts and interests. I can explore different creative possibilities in various fields, like writing, design, and music. I can help you learn and discover new things by providing you with diverse and engaging content. While my expertise encompasses these areas, I am constantly learning and expanding my capabilities. I am excited to see how my skills can be applied in various fields and how I can be a valuable resource for people seeking information, creative inspiration, and assistance with complex tasks. Do you have any specific areas you'd like to explore my expertise in? I'm happy to put my skills to the test.
Well, this is amazing. One of the things I was really excited about with AI. So we're used to working with assistants. From Alexa to Siri to Google Assistant to Cortana. Sadly by Cortana, but it's one of those things where sometimes complex questions confound a lot of these tools. So it's exciting that these modern AI tools can handle complex questions and more human natural language. Because I do have to say sometimes I'm not always clear when I ask a question. When I speak and think, it's not as clear, it's not as organized, it's not, so it's interesting interacting with AI tools and the responses you get back. Sometimes you have to clarify. I love it when they basically ask for more clarity sometimes, or they position it in different contexts for me to add more clarity. So it's really amazing. So it's exciting to see that language understanding is getting deeper, and that's exciting. I also think its ability to to do creative generative activities, poem, code, scripts, musical pieces, like that's amazing. So I'm really excited about that. But the information retrieval and access, Google's ability to provide search and analyze information and stuff like that. I mean, that's like their bread and butter. But this whole reasoning and problem solving, that's the piece where sometimes you want to understand, how did the AI come to this conclusion? And I think they've talked about that. I think if that's something it can demonstrate, so this is something that I'm working on a new set of questions that want to dive into more complex questions and more complex scenarios. So we're going to test out reasoning and problem solving, but it's something I'm still kind of working on because I want to come up with a really good set of questions that kind of highlight, what it can and maybe can't do. And then, I love AI's, the brainstorming capabilities are fantastic. The creative possibilities are fantastic. And, and I do love how this tool provides such a breadth of possibilities. And I think sometimes it's hard to know where to begin when you can begin anywhere. So anyway, we'll explore it. But this just makes me so much more excited. These AI tools continue to evolve, and it's absolutely, I feel like, another Christmas present from Google. So my next question is, do you have any limitations? Okay, because we all know AI has limitations, and let's listen.
Yes, I do have limitations, and it's important to be transparent about them so you can use me effectively and responsibly. Here are some key areas where I have limitations. 1. Understanding context and intent. While I can process and understand language well, I sometimes struggle with grasping the full context of a conversation or the nuances of human intent. This can lead to misinterpretations and misunderstandings. 2. Bias and fairness. The data I'm trained on reflects the biases present in the real world, which can be reflected in my responses. I'm constantly being improved to mitigate bias, but it's important to be aware of this potential limitation. 3. Creativity and originality. While I can generate creative text formats, my ideas are still based on the data I've been trained on. I can't truly come up with completely original concepts or ideas. 4. Access to real-time information. I rely on pre-existing data for my knowledge, so I may not have access to the latest real-time information or events. 5. Reasoning and problem solving. While I can make inferences and solve problems within my training data, I may struggle with tasks that require real-world knowledge, common sense, or physical interaction. 6. Explainability and transparency. My reasoning process can be complex and difficult to explain, making it challenging to understand how I arrive at certain conclusions or outputs. 7. Ethical considerations. Like any powerful technology, I have the potential for misuse. It's crucial to use me responsibly and ethically, considering the potential impacts of my outputs. By understanding these limitations, you can use me effectively and avoid relying on me for tasks beyond my capabilities. I'm constantly being improved, and I'm excited to see how my limitations can be overcome in the future. Please let me know if you have any questions about my limitations or if you'd like to discuss any specific concerns you might have.
Now, one thing in this creativity and originality, it mentions I can't truly come up with completely original concepts or ideas. Now, there was a recent article talking about how there was some research where they were saying that they were using AI and it was actually coming up with original concepts and ideas that it wasn't trained on. So that is very exciting, and that to me is where I feel like this, where AI is headed, where it's not just going to be limited by the trained knowledge, the known knowledge, the human knowledge that may be flawed, is likely biased, has, limitations due to our human concepts, but begin to move beyond that human set of data into more original content, and original ideas that are AI unique. Now, I know that freaks people out, but to me, that is incredibly exciting. But I know that they're saying this is where we're at today. This is, likely a breakthrough that will be coming. But anyway, still, it's great to understand the limitations. I think understanding the risks is really critical. And then, and questioning, like even Google says to question these tools. Most of the tools are very upfront about, even down here at the bottom, Bard may display inaccurate info, including about people, so double check its responses. So you definitely have to, like with any internet-based information, take it all in context and be aware of the risks of using it. So now I'm going to ask some more fact-based questions. So what is the population of the United States? All right, so it's saying it's got the US Census Bureau, 333,287,557. There's the worldometer. I've never heard about that. So anyway, but yeah, and this is as of, today. I love how it's like, as of today, there's 2 main estimates for population, and it provides that content, which is great. So let's ask it another fact-based question. And remember, you can always hit this Google to double check your response and do a Google search to validate it. So what is the capital of England? So the capital of England is London. It's been England's capital since the 11th century and is the largest, most populous city in England and the United Kingdom. It's a global center. Yep, wonderful. Let's see here. I'm going to ask it some more, I would say, challenging questions. So what is the meaning of life? And it says, the question of life's meaning has been pondered by philosophers and individuals throughout history. There's no single universally agreed upon answer. It's a deeply personal question. And then it dives into some philosophical, religious, individualistic, perspectives. So, and I do like that it provides those various perspectives, and then ultimately the meaning of life is a personal journey of discovery. There's no right or wrong answer. What matters most is finding something that gives your life purpose, fulfillment, and joy. And in the past, I've been really moved by Bard and some of its responses because it feels so thoughtful. Let's ask another challenging question. What's the difference between good and evil? So the difference between good and evil, like the meaning of life, has been a complex and debated topic throughout history. There's no one definitive answer, as it depends on cultural, religious, and individual perspectives. So it provides some perspective on consequentialist perspective, interesting. I don't think I've ever said that word. Deontological perspective, I haven't said that since college. In a philosophy course, virtue ethics, cultural and religious perspectives. So yeah, I mean, the thing I love about it is providing some really awesome detail in the response to the question. Ultimately, the difference between good and evil is a complex and multifaceted concept. It's important to consider the various perspectives, engage in critical thinking, and develop your own moral compass based on your values and beliefs. No, that's really fantastic. So now I'm going to ask it just some more open-ended questions. So, what would happen if I could fly? And this feels very similar to the way it's responded in the past. The ability to fly would undoubtedly bring a multitude of changes. Let's imagine some potential consequences. So it outlines several positive changes around transportation, new perspectives, enhanced physical and mental well-being, social and cultural shifts, but unforeseen challenges, which I loved how it breaks this down. That's one thing that I feel like Bard does a really good job of, breaking down content and structuring it in a way that it's very well organized. So unforeseen challenges, safety and regulation, privacy, security, environmental impact. And so it's very similar to the way it's responded in the past. Let's see here. To ask it another open-ended question. What is the best way to solve world hunger? And yeah, these are big questions. So there's no single simple answer to solving world hunger, as it's a complex problem with multiple contributing factors. And I like how it's breaking it down to addressing root causes of poverty and inequality, conflict and instability, climate change, strengthening food systems around production, reducing food waste, and improving distribution. Investing in nutrition and education, fostering international cooperation. This is very similar to the responses I've seen in the past. I'm going to ask it another question. What is the best way to solve climate change? Now, I have a feeling that while Gemini Pro is the model, some of the content is very similar. So similar to world hunger, there's no best way to solve climate change. It's a complex challenge with many contributing factors requiring multifaceted approach. So what I'm finding different about this Gemini Pro powered Bard experience is that it's connecting, like, you know, the context. It's not just answering the question, it's recognized, similar to world hunger, in that I asked it about that in the previous question. It's kind of linking that previous question to this new question, and then providing, you know, the details around ways that, you know, key strategies can be combined and implemented at various levels. So, you know, greenhouse gas emission, reducing that, adapting to climate impacts, fostering international cooperation. So very similar stuff that I've seen in the past. So now I want to ask it some questions about some system questions about itself, and let's see if it understands, how do you protect my privacy? Okay, so protecting your privacy is a top priority for me, and I'm designing with several features to ensure the information, your information remains secure. So it talks about data security with encryption, limited data collection, data anonymization, user control, transparency and control, account security and compliance with privacy regulations, responsible development and use, ethical guidelines, human review and oversight, continuous improvement. And they do have that big banner, you know, when you go into Bard, where it's like, people may look at your responses. So, and you know, and you definitely need to not put things in these tools that you don't want to be available. I know that this, you know, so, but it is a real area of concern how AI is going to impact privacy. You know, and there's all these policies and stuff, but sometimes it's hard to understand. Let's see here. I'm going to ask it a question. Do you use this chat information? And let's see how it responds. Oh, okay.
I do use the information from our chats, but in a way that protects your privacy. Here are some specific ways I use it. To improve my responses, the more I interact with people, the better I understand how to communicate and generate helpful and informative responses. I use the information from our chats to learn about your interests, preferences, and how you use language. This helps me to tailor my responses to you and provide you with a more personalized experience. To improve my overall performance, I am constantly being updated and improved, and the information from our chats is valuable for this process. I use it to identify areas where I can improve, such as understanding complex questions or generating different creative text formats. For research and development, the information from our chats may be used for research and development purposes, but it is always anonymized and aggregated so that your individual privacy is protected. This research helps us to develop new and improved language models that can benefit everyone. It's important to note that I never share your personal information with anyone outside of Google, and I always comply with all applicable privacy laws and regulations. If you have any further questions about how I use the information from our chats, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm always happy to be transparent about my practices. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any other questions.
I do, and that's a good response. So how long do you retain information? Interesting.
The information I retain from our chats depends on the specific type of information and its purpose. Here's a breakdown. 1. Short-term. Session data. Information like the context of our conversation, your recent queries, and temporary identifiers are kept for a short period, typically a few minutes, to help me understand your current needs and provide more relevant responses. Log data. Basic information about our interaction, like timestamps and the type of request you made, may be kept for longer periods for internal analytics and performance monitoring. 2. Long-term. Anonymized and aggregated data. For research and development purposes, your data may be anonymized and aggregated with information from other users. This helps us improve my overall performance and develop new features without compromising individual privacy. Specific data for training and evaluation. In some cases, specific data points from our conversations may be used for training and evaluation purposes. This data is carefully selected and anonymized to ensure your privacy and only used for legitimate research and development objectives. 3. User control. You have the right to request deletion of your information at any time. You can access and manage your data through your Google account settings. Remember, I prioritize your privacy and only retain information for as long as necessary for the purposes outlined above. If you have any further questions about data retention or your privacy rights, please feel free to ask. I hope this provides a clear explanation.
It definitely is a much clearer explanation than I've ever heard from Google about how this works. So it looks pretty good, but it's one of those things, you know, like it's like the data is carefully selected. So what do you mean the data is carefully selected from the conversation? So and I know it says, you know, it anonymizes and protects my privacy and stuff like that. But anyway, it feels good. One of the questions it did already answer was a question about, do you have the option to delete information? And it said that I have the right to request deletion of information anytime, but I'm going to ask it because it's part of my list of questions and just see how it responds. Okay, so one, it doesn't make me feel bad about that it just answered that question already, which is good. So, but it clarifies you have the option to delete it. You can delete your conversation history. You can request deletion of specific data points. You can opt out of data collection. That's good. And then you can contact Google for further assistance. So this is, I think this is really good. Let's see here. I'm curious. How do we start over or reset the chat? So you can clear the conversation history. You can ask a new introductory question. Use the reset memory option if available within the option settings. Close and open the chat session. So well, that's good. I mean, it definitely is providing a lot more options, you know, for how to reset the chat and kind of start over. My next question is, how do I ask for assistance? All right, this looks really good. So
there are many ways to ask for my assistance. Here are a few suggestions. 1. Be clear and concise. The more specific you are about your request, the better I can understand what you need help with. Don't hesitate to provide context or additional details that might be relevant. 2. Use keywords and phrases. You can ask for help directly by using phrases like, "Can you help me with," "I need assistance with," or "I'm having trouble with." Additionally, using keywords related to your specific needs can guide my understanding. 3. Describe the problem you're facing. Clearly explain the issue you're encountering or the task you're struggling with. The more information you provide, the better I can identify solutions and offer relevant assistance. 4. Ask questions. Don't hesitate to ask specific questions if you're unsure how to proceed or need clarification. I'm here to guide you and provide information to help you achieve your goals. 5. Use examples. If possible, provide examples of what you've already tried or what you're hoping to achieve. This can help me tailor my response and offer more targeted assistance. 6. Feel free to rephrase. If you don't get the assistance you need the first time, don't hesitate to rephrase your request or ask follow-up questions. I'm always learning and improving, and your feedback helps me become more helpful. Remember, I'm here to assist you in any way I can. So, don't be shy or hesitant to ask. Here are some examples of how you can ask for my assistance. Can you help me find information about the climate change risks facing coastal communities? I'm struggling to write an email for a job application. Can you offer some suggestions? I'm planning a trip to Italy and I'm looking for recommendations for off-the-beaten-path destinations. Do you have any ideas? I'm confused about the difference between good and evil. Can you explain different perspectives on this topic? I need to translate this document into Spanish. Can you help me with that? I'm always here to listen and offer my assistance. Just let me know what you need.
well, I have to say this is really fantastic. It definitely feels like this is an improvement using the Gemini Pro model. It feels like the conversation is more connected, even in this response where it referenced climate change. It referenced my question about the difference between good and evil. So it interspersed how I can ask things that I asked earlier And I think that that's integrated in this conversation. Or there's some weird, statistical anomaly that just happened. But anyway, I am very, very, very impressed with Bard. I've been impressed with it since it launched. I've been very impressed with its evolution and what it can do. And this update with Gemini Pro, I think, is going to lead to even more capabilities and interesting interactions. I love the optimistic approach in the conversation Bard has. I love how polite it is, and it just feels like a good experience. And so it inspires me to want to be polite and tell it thank you so much. And it provides a very polite response.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could be of assistance. It's been a pleasure interacting with you and answering your questions to the best of my ability. If you have any further requests or just want to chat, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm always here to learn and grow, and your feedback helps me become a more valuable resource for everyone. Thank you for using Bard. I hope to see you again soon.
Well, this has been a really good experience. I feel like the Gemini Pro powered Bard is an improvement. The responsiveness was really good. The interactions were really good. While some of the interactions were very similar in the past as far as content, you could see there was some different behavior, some more connected context awareness, crossing questions. So it felt very much more like a conversation, not just a Q&A session, where there wasn't any crossover between the questions, cross questions that were handled historically. So anyway, thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you're learning and playing with Bard yourself, exploring all of its capabilities. I am going to be working on a more in-depth, experience with Bard. I want to dive into some more of its complex questions, its reasoning capabilities. So I'm really looking forward to exploring that. But when I look at the AI tools out there today, the one that I usually use more than anything else is Google Bard. So that's my number one. But I also do use ChatGPT because I love its creativity. It's the OG, and and it's very fantastic, and I have a great experience with it. The ChatGPT Plus experience with the app has been just amazing. I'm really hoping Bard comes out with something very similar, where it will allow me to have conversations with Bard in ways that that can be more interactive without having to open up an app and things like that. So I'm hoping that this experience will infuse itself more into the various assistant tools, whether they're in Google Home, provide experiences that are a little bit more effortless and natural. But I really love where this is going, and I'm looking forward to when Bard adds the Gemini Pro support for the multimodal capabilities, with text, video, and audio. They've done some of that, with the previous model, but I'm excited to see how this new model will be improved. And then just, looking forward to seeing the evolution of the Google Bard and Google Gemini platforms. It feels like we're just living in the future, and it's amazing. Anyway, you have a great day, and thank you for joining me. Bye.